Nigeria's call obey. To see the Nigeria of our dreams emerge, there is an urgent need to return to the values that makes us a great nation. Drawing inspiration from the national anthem, this book titled Nigeria's Call Obey by Adeniyi Adekunle analyzes our anthem and enumerates the values contained in the anthem as values that make great. Our national anthem contains a common hope, a singular objective, and a compelling aspiration for our future. If we all individually and collectively respond to the message in the national anthem, we would have a very good chance at creating the new Nigeria we so desire.
Last time we were talking about the home-based relationship. We were talking about the platforms in which we engage people, that the principles of our relationship with our fellow men must be engaged either in the home-based relationship or family relationship or on the work-based relationship, And we spent some time talking about how it works exactly in the home-based relationship. Today, we want to look at how these things work out in the workplace relationship. And we give the example of a man called Paul Getty, who was a phenomenal success in the workplace, but a terrible failure in the home front. Why? The principles for success in the home front is different from the principle of success in the workplace. That in the home place, it's about emotions. It's about the fact that your children love you and you love them. About that your loved ones are close to your heart. They make you feel good and you make them feel good. And it's not about performance. It's not about projects. But in the workplace relationship, even though the principles of acceptance is there, the principle of love is there, the principle of service is there, it is slightly different. There is some emphasis on performance. Why? The same God that gave man a home to live in is the same God that gave man work to do. The same God that says, man, enjoy the beauty of the garden, says, man, walk in this garden, and I will judge you based on what you do. So even though we love and accept our people and our family and our loved one, we must also train them to live a robust life and understand that, listen, there is something you must do with the gifts and talent God has given you. You are responsible for that. You need to put them to work and create some level of performance. You need to perform. And when it comes to performance, that is the driving force in the workplace. In the workplace, you are judged based on performance. In the home place, it's not performance, but in the workplace, it's about performance. And when we don't understand these rules, we get in trouble, particularly for people who work as family members. You know, you have a family business, family members work in the same business, and they assume that the same way it works at home is the way it works in the office. And that's why most times family business have challenges. Why? Because his husband at home and in the office is wearing another cap. And you think the principles of husband, the principle of bedroom can be applied in the boardroom. Not necessarily. It's important we understand the way these things work. Now, when we talk about workplace relationships, there are things like employer-employee relationships. There's a teacher-student relationship, because school is a form of workplace relationship. There's a trainer-apprentice relationship. There's a customer-client relationship and all that. And all these relationships have different modus operandi. They have different ways they are running. Now, there's an interesting story I got to know about. There was a project, huge project, that 3 siblings were working on. These siblings were working on under one boss. And for some reasons, one of the siblings had an issue in his family life. He had some issues in his family life, and the 2 other siblings gang together and they began to discuss, this person's issues, family issues, and began to use it to attack his work. And when the boss heard about it, he reprimanded and incidentally he punished those siblings that were speaking about him. Now that's the story of Moses, the story of Aaron, and the story of Miriam. Let's read it. Numbers chapter 12. I'll start reading from verse 1 to 11. A long one, but let's read it. It will help us to cut the whole story. It says, Then Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he married an Ethiopian woman. Now, Aaron, and Miriam were siblings, and for some reasons, Aaron and Miriam gathered together and began to attack Moses' marriage and began to speak about his work due to the things that happened in his marriage. Verse 2. So they said, has the Lord indeed spoken only through Moses? Has he not spoken through us also? And the Lord heard it. Verse 3. Now the man Moses was very humble, more than all men who were on the face of the earth. Suddenly the Lord said to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, come out, you three, to the tabernacle meeting. And so the three of them came out. Verse 5. And the Lord came down in the pillar of cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both went forward. And he said, hear me now. If there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known to him in a vision. I speak to him in a dream. Verse 7. It's not so with my servant Moses. Remember, God calls Moses his servant. They will call him their sibling. God said, he is my servant. He said, Moses is faithful in all my house. I speak with him face to face, even plainly and not in dark saying. And he sees the form of the Lord. Why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? We'll take a break here and we're back immediately after. Please don't go away.
Experience God's life, light, and love as you join our church family this Sunday at the Helpers House. Venue, Kwoti Event Center, 171 Bagada Oworonshoki Expressway, beside EcoBank, opposite UPS, First Pedro Bus Stop, Bagada, Lagos. Time, 9:30 a.m. The decision on whom to marry is perhaps one of the most important decisions that you can make in life. Unlike any other decision you make in life, the decision on whom to marry has a far-reaching direct impact on your life. Sadly and unfortunately, most people fail to prepare adequately for this all too important life decision. In this book, Before You Say I Do, by Adeniyi Adekunle, you will find points to consider before proceeding to the marriage altar and down-to-earth practical questions to ask yourself before saying, I do.
Welcome back. We are still reading the story of Moses and in Numbers chapter 12 from verse 11, from 1 to 11. I'll continue from verse 8 again. I speak with him face to face, even plainly and not in dark saying, and he sees the form of the Lord. Why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? Verse 9. So the anger of the Lord was aroused against them, and he departed. And when the cloud departed from above the tabernacle, suddenly Miriam became leprous, as white as snow. Then Aaron turned towards Miriam, and she was a leper. Verse 11. So Aaron said to Moses, my Lord, please do not lay this sin on us, in which we have done foolishly, in which we have sinned. Aaron, who was 3 years older than Moses, immediately called Moses my Lord. Now, they were talking about Moses, their sibling. They were talking about Moses, their younger brother. But they moved from talking about his family and began to use the issues in his family to judge his work. And God said, are you not afraid to talk about my servant Moses? You are talking about my sibling, but this is his work. You are affecting his work. He said because of that, he punished them. When Aaron realized what happened, he did not call Moses brother again. He called him my Lord. So many of us get into trouble because we do not know where to draw the lines between home-based relationship and work-based relationship. We don't understand that the parameters for relationships are completely different. That the way you see somebody at work is a different thing entirely if you see the person at home. If my wife is the governor of a state today or the president, she is Her Excellency. The way I talk to her in the house or in the bedroom, I must never talk to her like that publicly. If I call her by name and all that, in public, she's my Excellency, Your Excellency. I might be the head of the home, but in that public place, she's Your Excellency. Why? It's work. You can't take the principle of work-based relationship and apply them to home-based relationship. We mess it up. People take this thing and now Jesus had the same experience. Let's read another one. I think that's in Mark chapter 6, verse 1 to 4. And it's interesting how these things is all over the Bible. Mark 6, 1 to 4. Talking about Jesus now. Then he went out there and came to his own country. And his disciples followed him. Verse 2, and when the Sabbath day came, he began to teach in the synagogue. And many hearing him were astonished, saying, where did this man get these things? And what wisdom is this which is given to him, that such mighty works are performed at his hand? Remember, work, performance. Verse 3, is this not the carpenter, the son of Mary? See, they are going from work base to home base now, modeling it up. Is this not the carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him. They saw Jesus in his place of work. He was performing and doing that, and they began to bring the principles of home-based relationship. Remember I said the home is not just the house you live in, it's the neighborhood you lived in. They saw Jesus as a carpenter. He had done chairs and tables for a couple of them. Some of them had the chairs in their house. Say, what's the matter with him? Who does he think he is? And the Bible says they were offended. That's what happens every time you mix the relationships up. That's what happens every time you take the principles of home-based relationship and you bring it to a workplace relationship. Now let's conclude. Verse 4, look at what Jesus said. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his own country and among his own relatives in his own house. What's Jesus saying? That a prophet is respected everywhere except among those who know him to his home. In my Yoruba language, they will say, one more dele dele, that is, they know you to your very house. So they disdain him. And because of that, they could not enjoy the value of his work. The Bible says he could not do many mighty works there. You see, the works of God will be limited in your life. The works, the benefits of your workplace will be limited in your life if you don't know how to keep work as work and home as a home. Every time you model up relationship, every time you try to take the principles, the informal principles of home-based relationship and put them on the platform of work-based relationship, you will always cut short yourself. You always find yourself in trouble. And God is saying, listen, understand the demands of all this relationship. Give the home-based relationship what it demands and give the workplace relationship what it demands. And you see greater values coming into your life. Thank you so much for joining us in this series. I'm sure that it has made a tremendous impact in your life. We love to hear from you. Thank you for keeping these things coming. And may God bless you and bless you and bless you. Have a very wonderful weekend.
I'm back, bigger and better. In a world full of pressures on all sides, many people experience some form of setback at some point or the other in life. While some setbacks can easily be overcome, many others can knock the best of men out of the game of life and bring them to a place where they never have the courage to get back up and fulfill their dreams and aspirations. In this book, I'm Bigger and Better by Adeniyi Adekunle, learn scriptural strategies that will help you turn setbacks into comebacks, help you rise every time you fall, and help you fulfill your dreams and aspirations.
This week we've spoken about how to accept yourself, how to love others. We've looked at the platforms for relationship, the home-based platform and the workplace platform, and the laws that guide these different platforms. And a proper understanding of these things would make your life richer, will make your relationship better. Try and apply the things you've learned this week. You will always have to deal with people. The earlier you know how to deal with people, the earlier you know how to work with people, the better your life will be. Thank you so much for staying tuned this week. Thank you very much. God bless you and have a wonderful weekend.